Remember asking both my mom and dad why we never travel to exotic lands. We only ever really visit friends, nothing to tell when the summer ends. We never really went buying clothes, folks were passing on the stuff in plenty loads. New shoes once a year.
Hey, Room 21 Rockstar families, and welcome to our weekly VODCAST. I hope that you guys are enjoying this incredibly beautiful weekend. Outdoors, having a lot of fun. I cannot believe that we are already to the end of April. Time is absolutely flying, and with that come a bunch of different announcements. So first of all, I'd like to congratulate this week's Rockstar of the Week, Mr. Ben Macaulay-Lang. Ben has been applying the Barrett Academy Constitution beyond the four walls of our classroom. And you know, that's one of our ultimate goals, and he's been doing an incredibly exceptional job with that. And so that is why he is this week's Rock Star of the Week. Always consistent, always living the Barrett Academy Constitution. Awesome work, Ben Macaulay-Lang. A couple of other quick announcements, guys. Tomorrow is Spring Picture Day, so your scholar can, you know, wear whatever they would like for their individual picture, but the class did plan to wear our Room 21 Rockstar t-shirts for our class picture. It's been a bit of a tradition over the last couple of years, so they can just bring that and then slip that over whatever they're wearing for their actual picture, or maybe they want to wear that for their actual picture as well. So don't forget, make sure your Rockstar brings their Room 21 Rockstar t-shirt tomorrow for class pictures. Secondly, report cards will be coming home on Friday. You're going to be receiving, once again, the Barrett Academy and the Stafford County Schools report card. A bunch of important documentation inside the report card this time, in addition to the report card. First of all, our school nurse is sending home some information about middle school health records and different things like that. So just keep your eyes open to that inside of the gold report card folder. Remember, you can take everything inside out of it, and I just need a signature on the front as soon as you feel that you have looked over everything thoroughly. Next up, we have our first annual Innovation Showcase coming up next Wednesday, April 27th, from 6:30 to 8 here in Barrett Elementary School. You know, guys, the really cool thing about this is every student, K through 5, is going to have work on display, innovative projects, interactive displays. We're going to have some STEM activities for all families to participate in, some coding in the library. We're going to have some Lego robotics, and every classroom is going to be buzzing with so many cool things that the scholars of Barrett have been working on this year. The Room 21 Rockstars specifically are going to be showcasing their TED Talks, their City of Barrett, their geometric cities, and they're also going to be putting some of their writing on display, including some things that we're doing in science, that we've been working on in science over the last few weeks with ecosystems and plants and different things like that. So I hope you guys can make it out. It's going to be an incredible night. Your scholars have been working so hard this year that we just thought that the Innovation Showcase is going to be an amazing way for them to showcase that work to you. Next, tomorrow, I am going to be sending home this blue paper if your scholar has signed up for the Holocaust trip. So basically, this is just kind of an update. I cannot believe that we are only 13 days away from the trip. You know, it's 2 weeks from yesterday, coming up on April 30th. We're going to take off from here at 8 a.m. and get back at 7 p.m. So on this form, first of all, I give you the rundown once again, but down here, I'm just kind of telling you what I have so far from each of you. So has your scholar returned a signed permission form? Have you indicated that you would like to chaperone? Are you willing to drive? How many can your vehicle hold? And also, has your scholar paid the $20? Now, a couple of questions that typically come up. You know, if you're chaperoning, you can pay for your scholar as the trip goes on that day, or you can send in the $20 now. It's totally up to you. Once again, that money is simply going to the Metro ticket, which is $14, and then to lunch to help offset the cost of lunch at the Air and Space Museum. So, you know, you can choose either way. That works fine for me. I think right now my chaperone pool is filled up. So anybody who said that they would like to chaperone back in March, you are in. But the problem is I reserved 20 total adult tickets for the Holocaust Museum, and I'm really close to that limit. So I don't want to take any more in at the moment. If you would still like to come and you didn't sign up earlier, I'll put your name down on a list, but I'm not quite sure that I'm going to have enough space because we had an incredible number of Rockstar families volunteer to come out and chaperone for this trip, which is amazing, by the way, guys. So thank you for that. So this just kind of gives you a rundown of everything that'll be coming home tomorrow with your scholar. And then finally, we are looking for 2-liter soda bottles. Okay, so the 2-liter bottles of soda or anything else that may be held in those types of bottles. We're actually going to be making live terrariums this week in class to help us review for the 4th grade science concepts. It's going to be incredible, but we do need some 2-liter soda bottles. You know, ultimately our goal would probably be around about 14 of them because each team is going to need 2 of them when we cut them apart and whatnot. And we're looking for those by Wednesday. So I'm going to be putting out an email to the staff at Barrett. If you guys can bring in whatever you have, if you can ask your neighbor what they have, if you have somewhere where the recycling is located at your house and you have a few laying in there, send those in. That will be incredibly helpful for us to review our science this week. You know, your scholars are doing an incredible job with our 4th grade science review, and I just want to thank you guys for supporting that at home. I can tell that many of them are studying at home and doing a really great job. I really think they're going to be ready to rock and roll when that Science SOL comes around. So now I'm going to send you guys off to Mr. Riker with the strategy session, and I'll see you on the other. Okay, Room 21 Rockstars, I'm starting you off on our homepage, recordrockstars.weebly.com. I have a bunch of different strategies to show you guys this week, but just a couple of quick reminders. First of all, obviously, our Innovation Fair and Showcase is coming up next Wednesday, April 27th from 6:30 to 8. It is going to be awesome. You guys are impressing me beyond belief with your focus on the Grammarys. Remember that those portfolios are due in whole by May 6th because our big day is on May 9th, 2016. And finally, this week with your Science SOL review, we have a bunch of cool topics we're going to be exploring, including food chains, environments, weather terms and tools, and weather fronts. Those topics are all coming up this week for our review. Remember, you can check out the study guides right below the calendar in case you forget yours at school one day. I know many of you have accessed that. That's been awesome. And now I'm going to send us over to the VODCAST section. You know, this week, guys, we are really transitioning over to the 4th quarter. We'll have our benchmark later this week, and then we're moving on to data and kind of moving away from geometry, which we've been spending a ton of time on during the 3rd quarter. You guys have risen to the occasion, done an amazing job. So I have all the concepts from quarter 3. Classifying angles, naming angles, measuring angles, classifying triangles, classifying quadrilaterals, perimeter and area, area of a right triangle, volume of a rectangular prism, the customary metric system as a whole, and finally converting metric units. So I did add converting metric units. With that specific IXL site this week, you can go on there, write down, show me your work, write down your answers, and you will get 2 house points for each of those. Now, this is going to be a bit of a challenge because it's not just asking you to convert a simple measurement. You have to compare 2 measures that they provide you. So, for instance, in this case, it says which is more, 9 kilometers or 9,000 meters. Well, you're going to have to find the equivalents of those. So you may want to choose one of them, say, for instance, 9,000 meters. And if I'm going to kilometers, I'm multiplying, okay? So my number would be adding zeros, it would be getting larger, okay? Or smaller for that instance. I'm sorry about that, guys. So, are they equal or are they not? Well, definitely they are indeed equal, okay? Now, you have to go through each of those and try to figure that out. That's a bit of a step up from what we were working on earlier this week, but I know you guys are up for the challenge. Now, you can choose any of the other topics here and earn 1 house point for each problem that you do, as long as you show your work as well. I did keep all the videos up 1 more week on perimeter, area, volume. Those are all available there. Now, this page here is what is new this week, and this deals with our metric conversion. So I'm actually going to go over to my Word version, but it is available right there, guys. And remember, we're looking at converting our metric units. King Henry died drinking chocolate milk with our base in the middle. Our base is either meters, liters, or grams, depending on what we're measuring. When we go to the left, okay, we are getting a bit smaller, okay, and when we go to the right, we are getting a little larger, okay, because obviously a milliliter is tiny, and just to have, you know, make up how many milliliters make up a simple meter. Well, that would be 1,000, so you need a ton of milliliters or millimeters to make up 1 meter itself. So I put down some conversions here. We're going to do one together in case you need a little refresher, and then I'm going to leave the rest for you, and I have some on the second page as well, so that you can kind of review and refresh. And I'm actually going to give you 3 house points for each of these if you put in the time and effective effort with them. So to begin with, 1.9 centimeters. I'm going to star where I'm starting, okay? And I need to get to meters. I want to know how many meters that is. So I think, first of all, what is a centimeter? Oh, centimeter, pinky nail, will equal the pace of a snail. Remember, that's part of our song, so I know that I'm going to 1, 2. So I'm going 2 to the left. So in essence, I am dividing because my number is getting smaller, and I would end up with 19 thousandths of 1 meter, okay, which would be equivalent to 1.9 or 1 9/10 centimeters. And remember how we talked about metacognition this week in class? Thinking about our thinking. Instead of just simply smacking down our answer, we want to kind of think about the reasonableness of that choice. And if I have about 2 pinky fingernails, and I know that a meter, okay, is about from the floor up to my waist, yeah, that's going to be a small number. My centimeters better be larger than my meters. So that sounds like a reasonable estimate. So if you guys go ahead and do the next 3, you can get 3 house points for each as long as you show me your work. Remember, use our staircase like we talked about. King Henry died drinking chocolate milk, and that will get you there in time. I also put another quick little review up here, guys, that I think will really help all of us to further our understanding of what we're doing with the math we're working with. And this is simply, what measure would you use? Okay, so what I want you to do is, what is something that you would measure at home in inches, feet, yards, miles? Okay, and what is something you would measure in millimeters, centimeters, meters, and kilometers at home? And that's just simply looking at the length. So I have both of those available. You can either pause the screen and get it from here, or that is available here on our Riker Rockstar Weebly page. Both pages of that are available for you as well. I did keep up the tasks from the last 2 weeks. First of all, this would just be finding close estimates for what we're measuring. So what would it be equivalent to the mass, or what would I measure a mass of a cat in? Well, if I'm measuring mass, I know I'm working with grams, measuring how much matter is within an item. So if I'm measuring the mass of a cat, I'm going to say I'm probably going to use kilograms, because if I think about grams, 1 gram is equivalent to 1 paperclip. So I don't think we're working with a cat that small. So you can complete any of those and still get a house point for each as long as you bring in your work. But the bigger house points are going to be available to the newer activities from the week. For reading this week, my question to you on our Padlet is, who do you consider to be the bravest character in Number the Stars so far? And I really, there's no right or wrong answer here, guys, but you really kind of have to think about it. Who do we think is the bravest character? That requires some thought. And then finally, our writing fix of the week is a little different this week. So this past week in guided reading, we discussed the changes of the daily activities of Anne-Marie and Ellen. Things that they used to do that were ordinary to them are now things that are extraordinary to them due to the Nazi occupation. What is something in your life that has changed from the ordinary to the extraordinary, or vice versa, from the extraordinary to the ordinary in the last year or so? Complete the prompt for 5 house points, and we're going to share it during Sacred Writing Time, but we're really going to spend time and talk about it during guided reading this week. And I put that picture there just because, it reminds me of Anne-Marie. It's almost as if and Ellen, it's almost as if they're looking back on the life that they used to have, that they long for, that happened before the Nazi occupation. And it reminds me of that train ride when Anne-Marie's mother said to Ellen, "Someday you will be among those deer, tame and free." Okay, and we really interpreted that figurative language incredibly well. So our secret hashtag of the week is hashtag 2-liter bottles. Hashtag 2-liter bottles. And that is because we need as many 2-liter bottles as humanly possible to be successful for one of our science experiments this week. It's going to be an amazing week in science. We had some fun at the end of the week with cells, learning all about plant and animal cells. And I loved you guys' curiosity and wonder and passion with that. So we're just going to keep that up and continue that upcoming this week. So I will turn you now back over to Mr. Reichert in person. Okay, Room 21 Rockstar families, I hope that those strategies were successful. I hope that you have an incredibly awesome week. Remember, a lot of things happening this week. Spring pictures tomorrow, Don't forget to remind your Rockstar to wear their Room 21 Rockstar t-shirt or bring it in for our class portion of the picture. And report cards will be coming home on Friday. As always, if you guys have any questions, comments, or concerns, do not hesitate to contact me. I am here for you guys, and I am so incredibly proud of each and every one of the 26 Room 21 Rockstars this year. They make teaching amazing, magical, and inspiring each and every day. I could not thank you enough for sending them and sharing them with me this year. So, without further ado, I will see you guys next week.
Remember asking both my mom and dad why we never travel to exotic lands. We only ever really visit friends. Nothing to tell when the summer ends.